Hey, good evening, beautiful people. How are you doing? Robert Williams. I'm here back with a little bit of a bonus video. I'm going to make this nice, short, and sweet, hopefully, because I can get long-winded. But nonetheless, um, as you know, I've done the back testing American Airlines and showed you guys the results in that three-part video. So this is a little bit of extra bonus, right? As you know, those trades, all of those were picking expirations that were out of the money. And it was based on the 30-minute setup with the 8 and the 34 crossing. On the upside, 8 crossing over to 34, and we're going up. And then on the downside with the 34 crossing below, or no, the 8 crossing below the 34. So as you saw in those videos, I was picking all out of the money strikes where I figured the target would be. And you see the results on that. But that may not be everybody's cup of tea to do out of the money. Because as you can see, there was big gains, but also there were big losses and, 60% loss on it. But the average wins were 181%, average losses were 47%. So what I decided to do was go back into it, look at each of those trades, exactly the trades, and do them with in the money strikes, pretty much at the money, right? So went back, looked at every single one of those trades on the on-demand, went exactly to the timing and picked at the money, which was whatever was in the money at that point right there. That is the strike I selected, and I ran all those trades over again. So this is just a quick video to show you what those results were. I literally went back to the time frame in which I was able to do those trades. So let me actually pull up, the activity on those trades so you know that I'm not capping here. And that is when I did that on that day. What is this one? You can't see what I'm pulling up and looking at right now, but that's okay. This is in the money strike. Yeah, it's in the money strike. And this is out of the money strike. Okay. So let me filter this, and I'm going to show my screen to you. Yeah. All right. All right. So let's share screen. Just going to share my entire desktop with you guys. All right. And I want to pull up 2 Excel sheets. These ones here. All right. So this should show you I'm no cap on mine, right? When you go into Thinkorswim, and let's go in there real quick, and you click on the on-demand. Right now, you're going to see the setup for the on-demand where I'm at September 7th, which is where I left off from the other trade. And when you go to the monitor screen, and like I've showed you before, you can see all of the trades that were done. You can see all of the times that were done, right? And then you can also see the results of everything that's here. And you can see the numbers that's down here. Now, what I will preface with here, don't pay attention to this number here, because as I was doing the trade, sometimes I made an error and didn't pick the right strike as I went back over and did it. So some of them I realized like, oh snap, I didn't change the strike that I was supposed to pick. So this number is not the same as what's going to be the results of picking in the money strikes. But I'm showing you just to show that in Thinkorswim, after you do all those trades, right, and it records it, you can click on the button here. Let me move my window. You can click on the button here and you can print now. You can do a page setup, or you can export the file. So print now, it'll show you exactly what the trades are, and you can print it, which is what I did. But I also exported the file. You can export it as it pops up as a CSV. And that's what I did. So that's just to show you, I pulled this thing as a report right on out of Thinkorswim. And this is what the report looks like. Here's the one I recently just did for all the in the money. And here's the one that I originally did on the videos, which were out of the money strikes. So as you can see, I pretty much went line by line on here and did the trade. This was the original one. And then I did the trades again, line by line, but this time it was in the money. I've selected strikes that were in the money. So as you can see, we still roughly have about the same time. And then this strike is, the same strike. But then when you look at the difference here, I'm sorry, not the same strike, but same expiration. So you see same expiration here and here, but then when you see the strike, this one's 42.50, this is 41.50. So I'm just trying to show you. I did exactly the duplicate because I need to have some integrity as I do the exercise so it can be real for myself and real for you if you're watching this video, and I do appreciate it. So that's just to show you the legitimacy. Imported both files, took the first one I did, copied it over, just picked different strikes. And you will see even the amount of option contracts that I picked is different because I still wanted to do about a $500 trade and invest $500 per trade so that we can really do our best to compare apple to apples. All right, so let's make this. So with that being said, y'all know I'm legit on that, right? We don't have to say that. And then we don't have to say that. All right, so now back to Thinkorswim. So we pulled it from Thinkorswim, did all the trades. You saw it, I showed you how you can export the file. Don't pay attention to the $9,000 profit. It's not really that. So let's go to the Excel sheet that I did all the tracking on. So the first video that I showed with the results was this one here. And let's go ahead and zoom in. So again, let's recap what the results were. Now I broke it down. So let's say you, again, an account balance of $10,000. This one took pretty much the average investment was $475. That's taking every single one of these entry costs based on how my tracker works. The average return was $201. That's taking the calculation of all the profits and expenses that are up here. And then the average ROI was 42%. The overall return of doing 47 trades was $9,447 in profit, which was a 94% return on your account. The win percentage was 40%, loss percentage 60%. Your average win ROI was 181%, where your average loss ROI was 47.66%. And then looking at this chart that I created, when you look at it from a timeline perspective of each trade, 47 trades, you get a nice little picture of your positive trades and your negative trades, right? So we definitely again had more losing trades and more expensive, but look at the winners. The winners ran for the profits ran greatly, which is awesome, right? That's what you want. You're not going to win every trade, and if you are, you're doing a hell of a job. I'm not saying you can't, but even this exercise showed me by doing a set of trades and following the process, regardless of the results of the next trade and the next trade and the next trade, if you continue to do it and your methodology works, you come out positive, which was what the results were of this one. So watch the other 3 videos and you know how we got to here. So in the meantime, when I found some spare time, I pretty much ran it and did the duplicate. So here on this tab is the in the money. And this is selecting the strikes that were in the money and not out of the money based on the exact same time of doing the other trades. And so here are the results. And you'll see these highlighted green and I'll make a note of why that is. So again, starting with the $10,000 account balance, let's say you have average investment was $485. That's based off all the entry costs. Your average return was 151%. So, the average return on trade is already left. Your average ROI was 31%. So your average ROI was less as well. Again, we're picking in the money. Your overall return was 7,121. So now you have a 71% return on your account balance versus the 94%. Now your win-loss ratio definitely changed. Picking in the money strike, the win percentage was 47% and the loss was 53%. So that was a change of 3 trades. And those are the ones that I highlighted here in green. On the out of money strikes that I selected for those trades, these were losses. But when we picked the in the money strikes, these were profitable. Small, but yet profitable. So that's what changes the win-loss percentage, the win-loss ratio. And then also your average ROI changes here, and significantly, if I may say so. Your average win ROI is 112%. And I'm sorry, I don't know why that's not showing negative. And your average loss ROI was 38%. So that's a significant difference there too, because we're talking about on out of the money strikes, your average win ROI was 181%. That was great. But then you're losing almost on average 50% of the trade on your losing trade. And again, that's just the average, because when we scroll up and look at them, some of them are looking like 70%, which is crazy. But you're going from 181 to 112, and you're going from 47 on the losing side to 38. So I know, at least for me, I know that I'd rather lose on average 38% than 47%. But then dang, I wanna on average have an ROI of 181% than 112%. So really it's out of preference for you as a trader and as an investor. So at the end of the day, comparing these two results, we see that picking an out of the money strike for the strategy that I did on American Airlines over that set time period, if you pick the out of money strikes where you're saying, this is where I think it's going to go, and so you select that strike, you came out with $9,000, $9,400 after 47 trades on what I did. And if you pick the in the money strike, then you came out about $2,000 less at $7,100, okay? So a 71% return on your money. So both ways, over from January to September, you didn't double in either one. And I stopped at September. Obviously, I could have gone throughout the year, but you didn't double at this point. But you're very close to doubling on the out of money strike. Now, on the in the money strikes, you are trading less contracts for one, because they're more expensive, and you have more of an opportunity for them to be having some intrinsic value in them, so that when they do move your way, you have that intrinsic value even if you went close to the expiration. But also, it doesn't fluctuate so much when it moves away from you like an out of the money strike does. Because when an out of money strike, you have no intrinsic value. It's all extrinsic. It's all time value at that point. So that means when it moves away from you, it's moving away and it's dropping quickly. But when you pick something that's really in the money or close to being in the money, at the money, you are getting more, you're buying more time value, right? And you're buying more intrinsic value. That's why it's more expensive. So your average returns are less when you pick an in the money strike, and your average ROI is less as well. But you didn't lose as much. Your win-loss ratio is better, and then your average loss per trade is better versus obviously the out of the money. So I said this before, just a few minutes ago. It's going to be based on preference, but it's always good, in my opinion, to do these back tests like this, and to do this type of activity is to see what is the difference if I picked a in the money versus the out of money. Also at the same time, and you got to try and do your best dollar for dollar with the same amount of investment on each one. And with that being said, the question I really have for you, or you should have for yourself, is, okay, as an investor, which one am I willing to put up the risk for, or am I willing to do? Because I don't want you to be just focused on the end result of the dollar amount, right? Because what past performance doesn't is not indicative of future performance, right? All that good jazz of how obviously what you did in the past is not guaranteed of what's going to happen in the future. Okay. So knowing based off doing this exercise that you have made more money picking out of the money strikes, and your objective is to make more money, then by all means, pick that out of money strike because you know where your target's going to go and do that. If you want to be a little bit conservative on your losses because you can't stomach seeing large percentage losses, then maybe picking out the in the money strike is more of your boat, and then you win more. You don't win more than you lose, but you still you're almost at 50-50 versus this one, you're at pretty much 60-40 when you pick out of the money. So you have more winning trade. You're closer to 50-50 on in the money versus out of the money. You're having less of a loss average when you're picking in the money versus out of the money. Which one's better? I do not know. It's really up to you as a trader, as an investor. I will say this, that after I did this exercise here, seeing that you're picking out of the money strike, and you knew where your target was going to be, like you had a really good sense of the technicals of trading, and you can pick that spot, then I would say you may be more comfortable with doing out of the money. If you're sometimes not too sure, you have an idea of where you feel that target can be and where it can go in that certain particular time, but you're just not 100 with it, then maybe pick in the money. And yes, it's a $2,000 difference, but it's still more than the account balance that you're starting off with. So just wanted to give this and share this with you as food for thought. And running it on both ends, because some people just don't do out the money, out of the money strikes. Some people only do in the money. There's those that only do out of the money and don't do in the money. But now we can see if we did this same thing, out of the money versus in the money, what the results would have been. Make more money if you pick an out of money strike, taking more risk. You have to expect bigger losses, but you can have big gains. And then also too, on in the money, you can limit some of those losses on an average. You're just not going to gain as much, but you're going to get those more consistent hitters and have more wins over time than you did with picking it out of money strike. So anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this short video. Hopefully it was short. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen, but I appreciate you guys. And yeah, I'm about to go to bed. Nonetheless, think, live, and be unstoppable. Until next time.